Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to continue in my Ireland scrapbook, and I'm going to use the one of the February virtual crop sketches for this layout. This is going to be layout number 1 or sketch number 1 from the February 2024 virtual crop. And that is a single page layout, but I'm turning it into a double page layout because those of you who know me know I don't generally do single page layouts. So we're going to make it a double page layout, and it's just going to be a mirror image of the first page. So let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, this is my workspace for today, and like I said, we're going to go ahead and work on one of the virtual crop sketches from this past month, so February. It's still February as I'm recording this, but February is fast coming to a close, so soon it will be March, and March is a favorite month, as you can imagine, since we just visited Ireland. So I can't say that I'm going to be doing any specific St. Patrick's Day layouts, but we're going to be doing lots of layouts for this Ireland trip throughout the month of March and probably the rest of the year. So I hope that that's something that interests you and that you will stay tuned. This is the second page of the layout we did last time, and as you can see, it's got our page number 2 marker, and this was layout number or sketch number 3 from the February virtual crop. Today we're going to do sketch number 1. Sketch number 1 is a single page layout. As you can see right here, this is sketch number 2, so don't pay attention to that one. We'll do that one next time. But this is sketch number 1. You can see it's got a lot of straight cuts, not a lot of changes or specialness to the sketch itself, but we're going to do some fun things with it, and it should be quick and easy. So grab your CM trimmer. You're going to need 3 pieces of designer paper, but 2 of them that are the same, and then 1 that is different that will complement it. I'm using papers from the Passport to Adventure series, since these photos are still while we are at the airport. We're on our way to our travel bus that we are going to travel in, and so that's what the photos are that are going to be going on these pages. So I decided to use my travel paper one more time before we get into actually all of my special Ireland paper. Not Irish paper, but Ireland paper. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to just take my base pages and set them aside so that I have some workspace that I can dedicate to the task at hand, right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is cut a frame that's going to go around the outside. Now in this case, typically we would cut a frame that is slightly wider than what you see here so that we can then put a square down on top of it. But I'm not going to cut an extra square from a separate piece of paper for this. So I'm going to make my cuts as accurate as possible, and I'm going to take the center of the paper I'm cutting into a frame and I'm going to flip it over and then put it back. So I need to be really careful and make sure that my frame is exactly the size that I want it to be. So taking a look at the sketch, I can see that this inside square right here is going to be 10.5 inches. So it looks like actually they've added a piece, that this white piece right here is one piece that's been added that's 3.5 by 10.5. But I'm going to avoid cutting that by making a 10.5 inch square and a frame around the outside. Let me show you how I do that. So I'm going to grab 2 alligator clips. They look just like this. Okay, I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to put my alligator clips attached to my carrier bar that my housing sits on and slides on, okay? And I'm going to want, if I have a 10-inch square in the middle, that means I have a 1.5-inch frame around the outside edge, okay? So that means that my frame needs to be here at 1.5 inches. That means my clip is going to go at the 1/2-inch mark. The reason is because you can see, if you look at the side of my housing, that white line is where my blade is going to stop. It's 1 inch from the end of my housing. So if I slide my housing all the way to the edge of that clip, you can see my blade is going to stop at the 1.5-inch mark. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to want my blade to stop at 10.5 inches. So I'm going to place my clip at 11.5 inches. That way my blade will stop at the 10.5-inch mark. Okay? So then what we do is we take our paper, and I'm going to go ahead and stack my paper so that it is going to be the same, because I want 2 of these, so it just makes sense to just go ahead and stack it. I'm going to push my paper out to the 1.5-inch mark on the right-hand side of my trimmer, so that means not the very last mark on my grid that's way right next to the edge, but the mark just 1 grid line in from that. That's 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to push down and go all the way through. Then I'm going to turn my paper. I always seem to want to turn mine counterclockwise, but you can do it whichever direction makes you comfortable, as long as you get all 4 parts cut. And if your paper is sliding around too much, feel free to just do them individually. That works too. I may do that because mine just seems to want to slip. And I don't want it to slip. I want it to be nice and tidy and cleanly cut. So I'm just going to try one more and see how fiddly this gets. And if I have to, I'll just do them individually. Let's see. So there's my second cut. Let's see if I can turn it. 1.5 is right there. Sometimes you can get lucky and your paper kind of just instinctively knows to stay together. Other times it's just slippy slidey, and yeah, you don't want that. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust that just a little bit. I'll do one more. And this is our last turn. And well, as you cut it, the cut pieces actually kind of help it stay together, which is nice. Okay, so then we're going to do our last one. And now we've got our frame, which I think we're going to do the frame with our letters. And then we're going to turn the center over and make it more of the silver. All right, so that piece is done. Grab your third piece of designer paper, and I chose to use this one, but I'm going to use the yellow side mainly. This has little tiny compasses on it. We don't need the clips anymore, so we can put those back wherever you store your clips. I just mainly clip them to the little shelves that I have at the front of my desk, so they're handy when I need them. All right, this center strip is what we're going to cut now, and this center strip is 3 by 12. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 3 inches by 12 inches out of this beautiful gold piece with the compasses on it. So there's one, and we're going to do a second one. All right, so there's 2 2. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn this, because this piece now is 6 inches wide. Now I want 2 pieces that are 4 inches wide. So we're going to make 2 mats, essentially. 2 4x6 mats. And we have an extra one in case we have another photo that we want to mat. And I'm not sure about that yet, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to stick all 3 of those mats right up there, and we are going to go ahead and assemble the rest of this. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and I'm going to grab one of my frames and one of my centers, and it's going to go right here like so. And just so that we can make sure we're making the best choice, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and do it the opposite way on, all right, what happened there? Did I drop a paper? That's kind of weird. All right, so we'll just take a look at that and see which one we like best, or if we had to do one on one side one way and one on the other side the other way. Meanwhile, my other yellow strip is MIA. Okay, found it. And eventually these strips are going to go right down the center, just like this. So which one do we like better? I think I like this one better, because the busy is around the edge, and then we're going to have photos in the center and off to one side or the other, as you can see from the sketch. So I think that's going to look really nice with the silver background on them. More of a tone-on-tone background on them. So that's what I'm going to go with here. So I'm going to adhere these down, and I'll be right back. All right, so to center this strip right here, what I usually do is, if I'm working on a mat, I line up my piece, my base piece, so that I can find the center. So here is the center line right here of this piece, and then if I find it easier visually to center if I have less to look at, right? So I just line it up with that line and watch the edges out here to make sure that they are centered within these cubes, rather than trying to figure out if this is even with this side. It just works better for my eyes. So if that helps you, hopefully that tip is a good one. All right, so now we're going to take our mats and we're going to mat a couple of these photos. Let me kind of show you how I was going to line these out. So this is a tunnel that we walked through to get to the parking area of the airport. And after we walked through the parking area, we were introduced to our bus. And forgive me, Tony, if you're watching this, I did not refresh my memory, but I do have in my notes the name of his bus, because his bus is quite a character and will continue to play a big part in our journey through Ireland. So the bus is a cool and integral part of our trip. And I have this odd-sized photo here, which I may decide to do something fun with. I'm not sure. These two up here are the ones that I would like to crop or frame. However, you can see they are 4 by 5 1/4 basically. So what I'm going to do is cut about a 1/2 inch off the top, because this is not significant to what I want to remember about the trip. So I'm going to modify that so that there is more of a frame around these photos, and then they will be matted. So I'm just going to grab my trimmer and go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off. And so there's the 1/2 inch of that one. And this one over here also needs a 1/2 inch taken off. I can take it from the top or I can take it from the bottom. I'm choosing to take it from the top rather than cut all of us off down here, which is a very personal, whatever you feel is right kind of thing. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and mat these. And if you want your mat to be even all the way around, then you might want to trim the mat just a little if your photos are the same size as mine. But I'm okay with there being just a little bit extra on the outside edge of my photo, so I'm not going to worry about trimming that off. But if you like it better having that be even, then by all means go ahead and trim it off. So I'm just centering this. It's about little shy of a 1/2 inch from the top of that center 10.5 inch square, the silver square, and as centered as possible. And then we're going to go ahead and mount these photos without matting. Yeah, his bus was so fun. We had a great trip, and it was largely because of the fact that we always knew we had our big red bus to travel in. So it was a lot of fun. And he told great stories about it too, so that's good. Why it has its name, and I may be able to tell you later when I run across those notes. But it's named after a mythical god. So honestly, I can't even make it up to try to tell you. I have to actually look at my notes. It's kind of fun. Do you name your vehicles? We name our vehicles, or at least we try to. However, I have a couple of children who are adamantly against naming their cars, so they don't like to play along, sadly. But that's okay. To each their own. We have named their car, even if they haven't, which may frustrate them. But that's how we roll around here. All right. And this one, I could try to crop, but if I did, I would be cropping off my sister's face and cropping into my daughter over here. So I think I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to we're just going to mat this, not mat it, we're going to mount this just as it is. It's a little wider than the other photos as well, but that's okay too. We're just going to try to center these so that they have roughly the same amount of space out here. Their level is good, so I have to level that one out. This one looks like it's pretty centered. Alright, this is Tony, our bus driver. The Kula Bula man. He used to say Kula Bula all the time. Okay, so now we just need some embellishments and we are good to go. So I've got a few cute embellishments over here that are more St. Patrick's Day related. I did not pull these embellishments from the, I should say they're more Irish related, not St. Patrick's Day, but I have St. Patrick's Day on the brain since it's almost March. Just some fun things here. So let's see. I was thinking these banners would be cute, but I think they're not the right colors for what we're trying to do here. We could do the green. The green would probably be okay. Those two we would need to probably save for another day. I've got some shamrocks that were from the NSD kit, some foiled hearts that are also from the NSD kit. It's Your Lucky Day is in Echo Park. I think, yeah, pretty sure that's Echo Park. Shamrock and Roll. Let the Shenanigans Begin. I feel like this one needs to go over here. And let's see. Put this with a shamrock, for Shamrock and Roll. Let the Shenanigans Begin. We could do Lucky and Blessed over here. All right, let's create a couple of, we're not going to use these. Let's create a little bit more of a cluster. So when you create a cluster, or what I try to do when I create a cluster is I try to use a focal embellishment. So usually it has words on it, or it's a larger emblem or shape. And then I add two more things to it to give it a little more round, help it be a little more rounded out. So we're going to do Lucky and Blessed. I'm going to add that little banner to the bottom, and we're going to add the little shamrock to it, and I'm going to use just a little foam square to pop the shamrock up. Okay, so let me put some repositionable adhesive on the back of this. Then we're going to just put that right there and say Lucky and Blessed, because we all know we were so lucky and blessed to be able to go on this. And we're going to put that little shamrock right there next to it. Okay, and then this one, Shamrock and Roll. This I'm going to tuck underneath, tuck the corner underneath the stem of this shamrock, just to kind of give it, kind of ground it a little bit. And we'll add just a little heart, and I'll add that one with another foam square. So usually 3 is my magic number when it comes to adding embellishments, but as long as you stick with an odd number, you can kind of You can kind of do that however makes you happy. Alright, and then we're going to do Let the Shenanigans Begin. Shenanigans begin. How can we do this? Okay, maybe. What kind of put that there, and then this one over top, like so. That might be a little bit too close to the L, you can't see it. And now you can't see shenanigans. See, this is the little bit of difficulty I'm having. Maybe we need to, oh, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to grab my precision point scissors, which are buried over here. I'm going to use them because they have such a fine point, and I'm going to cut up here between the leaf and the stem on my embellishment, just a tad. Okay, so that I can leave this leaf right there, and this one I can fit kind of over the top, like so. Okay, let the shenanigans begin. All right, and this one I'm going to go ahead and add more foam squares too, so it's not just flat. All right. Let the shenanigans begin. Okay. I have more of those that say let the shenanigans begin. But, so I have a sense that they will probably be starting and stopping throughout this trip. So if you have that sense, you'd be right, I think. Okay, I believe we are pretty much done. Journaling can be done in either one of these gray areas right here. I think that would be perfect because a black, really nice, fine Creative Memories journaling pen will show up really nicely right in both of those areas. You could also journal on the gold strip at the top or the bottom. That would also work. And journaling is important. I don't show you my journaling. I don't show you my journaling for a couple of reasons. One is because it's just not, it's very time consuming, and so I tend to wait and do all of my journaling at the end when I'm done with an album, otherwise done with an album. Then I will stop and go back and do my journaling all at once, so that I'm telling the story kind of all at the same time. That's what works for me. I will do a flip through of this album when I get that far. When the first volume is completed, I will do a flip through video for you. But that will not include journaling either. So just know that you won't really ever see my journaling, but I do try to tell you where I'm going to put it, or where I would put it, so that you have an idea where you can put or should put yours. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this has been fun for you. I'm going to post this to the Creative Memories Virtual Crop site, so you will get to see it there, and it will probably be there before it comes up on YouTube. In fact, I can guarantee that, because it won't be coming out on YouTube until next week sometime. But I think it's a fun one. It's fairly easy and quick, and especially when you do it the way we did. Very, very easy and quick. So at any rate, let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and I always try to get back to you. So if you have any questions or comments, please make sure that you note that, and I will see you next time in a couple of days. Have a great day now, and until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments.